Loyal to our Barringer.
My name is Captain Kate Blaze. I am from Central New York State, near the Syracuse area. I was actually born in New Hampshire, raised in upstate New York. I went to college at American University down in Washington, D.C. I went to college down at American University in Washington, D.C. I spent 4 years there pursuing a public communication degree. I was really interested in journalism and public relations type work. I was recruited by the Air Force my senior year of college to be a GS civilian employee to work for the Air Force. I ended up getting hired to be a public affairs officer as a civilian. My first assignment was out in California, so I went to Edwards Air Force Base, which is in the high desert of California in the middle of nowhere. I spent about a year and a half out there doing public affairs stuff. So I wrote for the base newspaper, I gave tours of the base, and it was really my first taste of the Air Force, any sort of military environment. I did not grow up with a goal to be in the Air Force. I did not grow up with a goal of being an aviator in the military because I didn't think I was capable of it. I thought I was good at English, and that was about it. I was interested in history. I didn't like math, didn't like science, really didn't understand it, really didn't put in the effort to try to be, to bring myself to that level really, or try to be capable. So I spent about a year and a half out in California, and then I was moved to Barksdale Air Force Base in Shreveport, Louisiana, again doing public affairs work as a civilian, and that is where I met two of the most influential people in my life, and I still consider them mentors today. They were both in the military doing public affairs, and they just awed me. They were so good at their job. They just embodied service before self. They had given up a lot to be in the Air Force. They had given up family time. They had given up their personal comforts to have this Air Force career, and it just really impressed me and enamored me. And so I gravitated towards them. They kind of took me under their wing, and it was really through just their mentorship and being inspired by them is why I pursued active duty and actually joining the Air Force. So from there I went to officer training school, and I was picked up to be an Air Force aviator, and went through about a year of training and got my wings. So what led me to become a part of the Air Force was really the people I was around when I was at Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana. And it's those two specific mentors that really just inspired me to serve, in my mind, more, to actually join the military.
What message do you have for young women who aspire to be like you?
Well, hey man, 10 years ago, I was 24. And working in public affairs, writing for the base newspaper, and I never would have thought I was where I am today, just because I didn't think I was capable of anything like this. I didn't think I was smart enough to actually understand aviation or how to fly a plane. So I would say have faith in yourself, put in the work, put in the time, put in the effort, and you can literally do anything if you start with step one, and that is having faith in yourself.
Good afternoon, I'm Master Sergeant Diana Gill. So I was born in Miami, Florida. I like to point out Little Havana, which is one of the hoods that makes up Dade County, which I'm super proud of. My mom's from Honduras, my dad is Cuban. My mom came from Honduras on a visa in the 80s, and she overstayed her welcome, becoming an illegal immigrant at that point. My dad came in the Mariel boat lift, which if you're familiar with like Tony Montana from Scarface, exactly what it was. And he actually followed the footsteps and got sucked into the whole Miami life. So I've been exposed to drugs and violence my entire life. I was born into it. Two brothers, an older brother and a younger brother as well. My older brother in 2006 was deported back to Honduras because of his run-ins with the laws and just too much criminal activity. And then my little brother was actually murdered in 2017 because he followed my dad's footsteps with the drug industry and all that. So my daddy was locked up from when I was in 6th grade all the way up to junior high because of drugs. So I feel like those are the years when you need your parents the most. And I spent that time just going to visit my dad up in northern Florida, about once a month, in prison. Yeah. My mom did get her residency eventually. She actually got it in 2020, which is crazy because it's like the worst year for a lot of people, but she says it's the best year of her life. So.
What led you to become a part of the Air Force?
So I graduated high school in 2005, and I caught myself. I was getting sucked into what we refer to as the Miami life, and I just wanted to break the cycle. I wanted something different. I wanted something better for myself and for my future family. So I joined the Air Force in 2006 just to get away from everything. So I joined in 2006. I told the recruiter, just take me, take whatever. I ended up enlisting as a radio operator. And so I got stationed at Andrews, which is in DC. I worked at the centralized network station, which was pretty cool, but then I transferred over to the 1st Helicopter Squadron, where I worked directly with White House Comm, with the government DVs and stuff. Got my top secret clearance, so I was able to see things that I would have never seen before, that I didn't think was possible. For me, especially coming from where I come from. In 2013, I became a recruiter. In 2013, I wanted to give back. I wanted to do what my recruiter did for me, change my life. I wanted to do that for others. So that's how I got into recruiting.
Awesome.
Why did you pick the Air Force?
So initially I didn't pick the Air Force. So I initially took my test, or my ASVAB test, with the Navy, because they had like all the cute uniforms and all, you know. But then my cousin, he's like, no, you scored high enough to be in the Air Force. So I was like, okay, if it's the highest scoring branch, then it must be like the better one, right? So that's how I ended up going into the Air Force. And it's not like I scored really high. I barely made it through. Like I think I needed like a 32 to get in, and I scored like a 34. But that's how I ended up in the Air Force. I had no military background at all. I don't know if I mentioned, like, the first one to graduate high school from my family. Nobody else speaks English. So here I am.
What message do you have for young women who aspire to be like you?
Don't stop. Don't feel like you're stuck somewhere because that's what you were born into. There's so much out there, and we just need to take like the steps to get to where we want to be. You're never stuck anywhere. We just have, so I guess to backtrack, like, it's never gonna be a balanced playing field for us. I feel it's never gonna be that. However, it doesn't mean that we can't get far in life. We just have to put in a little more effort, or to put a little more work to get to where we want to be at. But opportunities are endless. You just gotta find them and create a way for yourself.
My name is First Lieutenant Brittany Taylor. I'm a United States Army officer, and I'm from Houston, Texas. I grew up in Houston, Texas. I was raised by a single mom, and you can see I'm in the military. My motivation for joining the military was receiving free college. So upon high school graduation, I was lucky enough to receive an appointment for the United States Military Academy, where I attended for 4 years to receive my bachelor's degree, and upon graduation, I commissioned as an armor officer in the United States Army. My message is that anything is possible. The answer is never no. Every barrier you face, the answer is yes, that yes, you can do this, and no one is going to stop you. I look at my own career. In 2016, the branch that I'm in right now wasn't even open to women. Some of the schools that I've attended were not open to women until 2016. And it was because of perseverance and resiliency and never allowing anyone to tell me, no, I can't do this, that I'm here today.